Yes, Shivanarayana, and good afternoon, everyone. I hope each one of you and your families across the globe are staying safe, and I hope everyone is staying safe and healthy, and also taking care of your family, personal, professional work. I'm sure you are also spending some quality time with kids, especially in the high school, because now you all are at under one roof. So I know I have been getting many one-on-one sessions requirements from many people for the attention of the college, right? Many of us, including me, many parents have studied in India, and we have come here either for the masters or for the uh, H-1B visas and for the job. And even if you are doing a master's here or you are directly coming just for the work visa, we don't know the entire educational systems, what is here. And if you already have a kid in the college, maybe you might have gone through the process. But if it is a completely parents are learning through the kids, and many things are hidden, and the college system year over year, things are changing differently. So I have spent almost my life. I've been in the US more than 20 years, and I have spent all my life with the kids. And when my kids were going into elementary, I was there as a PTA with the elementary. When they went to the middle school, I was there in the middle school. When they went to the high school, I was there in the high school, because it is not that I really want to follow them, but I really have a passion for the education. And then we thought it will be a good idea to know more about the system. So when I was when my kids were in elementary, they selected me as a parent council. At that time, it was called, I think, a PAC, a PSE, Parental Advisor Committee. It was in Tampa, Florida. So first thing I asked was, okay, can you tell me what is the whole education system? So they put me for a 1 or 2 days in the county, giving me some, overall knowledge about how the different things goes into the system. And of course, that time STEM was not there. And then we, coming from India, we always focus more on the math and science and than the communications, right? So we were saying, hey, STEM is a critical part, so we need to do. So based on that, I have been giving almost more than 5 years college counseling and trying to just give the information. I'm not saying I'm the expert, but at least I want to share the experiences, what I have gone through with my own kids, and also with some of the people who I have been started doing the college counseling since last 5 years. So each kid is unique. Each kid has his or her own abilities, and the way of thinking is completely different. And I know, as we all parents always try to see, mostly our Indian parents want to put everybody in the same similar fashion, or they will say that, okay, we have been gone through different colleges, or our engineering colleges, or the IITs, or the NEC, or the REC. We try to impose many things onto the kids, but the education system and the things are different here, and each kid is different. So this is more about, I want to give everyone a complete overview of how this education system is there. When your kid is in ninth grade, what he or she has to do, and if it is in 10th grade, what they have to do, if it is 11th and 12th, and typically plan for how each one of the family has to work towards the college. So we may have to go through some hard facts, and as we all know, it is not easy to go through this college application, but it is definitely not difficult or not something you cannot achieve, right? You all can achieve. Only thing is, we all need to plan and make sure things are understandable, and you are able to stick to the plan and work with your kids and go. So we will go through this, and I will be covering a lot of stuff here. So whatever you would like to take notes, or if you have any questions, just keep it with you. What the agenda would be, I will be going through a lot of the information, And if you have any one or two questions on this, you can raise your hand and we can ask, we can discuss. Otherwise, I'm going to have a Q&A at the end so we can have a more detailed discussion. And I'm also asked towards the end, some of the kids I have asked them to join who have recently finished their high school, and I worked with those kids. Now they are in colleges, so they can also share their experiences. What is working towards the college means? So before we begin, anyone has any questions? Thank you. So let me just bring my screen. Hopefully you're all able to see the screen. Okay, I hope everyone is able to see my screen, correct? If anyone is not there, please unmute and tell me, because I may not be following the chat. If anybody was saying, you can just unmute yourself and then you can let me know. So as we discussed, the road to college is not straightforward, right? So it has a lot of curvature within the from step A to Z, right? So many things we have to do. And of course, if you are really planning early, just like in India, for IIT coaching, you need to get into IIT, you need to go into the Ramaya coaching. To get into the Ramaya, then there is the again coaching. So that is not there here. It is all about you, how you want to do. But more important is you should have some kind of a overall knowledge. So you can even start from the middle school if you are aware of it. But if you have not started in middle school, not a big deal. The big deal is all about how your high school, 8th grade summer onwards and 9th grade onwards, how the journey is going on. So that is the critical. So we'll be going through the journey, and I'll be spending more time in the 9th and 10th, different topics. And then I'll be spending more time on 11th and 12th on a different topic, so that we are covering a complete. So at the end of this session, you all will have a complete overview of what is a college application process means, and how as a parent, how as a kid. I hope all the high school kids are also with you guys. I'm expecting on this call the kids plus the parents to watch, so that they all are learning together. So this is one of the fantastic opportunity where from when your kid is in high school, you are automatically becoming a friend with your kid. So a parent, most of the time in the home, either the mom or a dad would be one of the parents spending more time with the kids, depending upon the natural ability, how you all are doing, or the natural inclination towards the education and all. But one of the parent, at least if we are both together with the kid, that's good. But at least one of the parents should be with the kid. So it is like a pair. Now they both are having a journey from 9th grade to 12th grade. And one of the critical component is, as we all know, of course, thanks to COVID, that everybody is working from home and all the kids are also staying home. But if you think about it, once they finish their high school, once they become a freshman, they are off the home, right? They are off to college. Once they go to the dorm, you will be really missing your kids, I'm telling you. I have two kids now. The two kids are out of the house, so we are definitely missing them. But luckily with the COVID, my daughter is staying home, so we are still able to spend more time with her. So believe me, time will just fly. You think it's 4 years, 4 years is nothing. Okay, so spend as much time as possible with your kid, because that is critical for your success and their success. So just as we all know, I am president for a JET USA, Chinnajiyar's organization, Swamiji's organization. It is a JET, is a spiritual organization. I'm the president for North Carolina. And similarly, we have another wing called VT Seva. VT stands for Volunteering Together, and we have more than 40 chapters across the US. And in Cary, we have VT Seva Cary, and then we have two fantastic directors, one Saujanya Garu and Kalyani Garu. And I'm just advising them. So any activity what we do is always under Swamiji's umbrella, and everything is free. What I am doing is also all volunteering and free. But because everybody is spending a lot of time, what we are trying to do is, you don't pay me anything, but to support the cause. There are, especially with this COVID, there are many people, like in our mission is, we are supporting visually challenged kids. There is a school for visually challenged kids. It is completely free. And we also have a tribal schools, and we also have a schools for our traditional Vedic schools. And we also do a lot of health screening in the India. There are pre-screening for the female for the breast cancer and other cervical cancers. So there are many programs are going on, and everything is free for underprivileged kids and underprivileged people. So it all runs purely through volunteering and support. So in any way you can support the cause, that will be good, and all the donations, whatever you do, are all tax deductible. Thank you. And if you need any more information, you can contact me or Kalyani Garu or Saujanya Garu. But just on the interest of the time, we'll spend more time. What is the real subject for today's evening, right? So all the family have to be together, and they all have to know your journey, right? So when the kid is going from 8th grade to 9th grade, you really need to think about what is that going to be in 9, 10, 11, 12. So we have to really think about backwards. So in the senior year, based on your 8th grade, because if you are in Cary or local, typically your government middle schools have a different subjects and a few things you can do. But if you are going into any advanced school or a private school or a magnet school, their curriculum is a little bit different. So there are kids who will be finishing math 1, math 2, and even math 3 when they're going to the 9th grade. But some of the kids will be doing only math 1 or math 2. So whatever may be your case, again, don't worry about if your kid is not doing something which other kid is doing. Don't compare. So 9th grade onwards, don't compare what other kids are doing, because your kid is important to you. What, as a kid, what you are doing is very critical to yourself. So as a high school student, you just focus on your strengths. Don't copy somebody else, right? So think about what is that you are going to be doing in freshman and sophomore, junior, and senior, and then work towards the backwards, right? So the first step is make a 4 years plan of the schooling and work from backwards from senior to freshman. Then what is the academic and rigor, right? So sometimes because you have the capability, but you don't want to take the rigor, you just want to take it to easy going, and then you really want to take a lower level, because now in high school, depending upon the school, you may have the honors, or you may have the advanced honors, or you may have the AP. So there may be a different things will be coming up. So you need to really see if you can take a high rigor curriculum, it is always good. But then you also need to excel in what you are taking, and depending upon what is your other curriculum, extracurricular activities. So you have to really design. And it is also a good idea to think about it. Just have an overview, right? If you are thinking, I was talking to one kid, he was saying, I want to go to MIT. So just saying MIT or saying Harvard or saying Stanford is good. But if you're really saying that, you go to the MIT, spend some time on the website, understand what is the median score, middle score, average score of your GPAs and the SAT score, ACT scores, because you need to start building and understanding, so that right now, a transition between 8th grade and 9th grade kid is still thinking, I'm still a kid, I can just play around, I'm just saying for the sake of saying, because it is a big brand, it is a big thing. You're not really saying that whether you are eligible to be applying for that school, but you are just thinking that, okay, maybe that is a good school. So it is a good to have a good dream, because you are just starting. Sorry, was there any question or anything? Okay. So then we also need to make for what is your extracurricular activities. What is my 4 years going to be? So as a kid, as a parent, as a family, you need to really think about it. What is my life for the next 4 years? Right. So what is the extracurricular activities? Maybe I'm a good in coaching, good in any kind of a marathon, or maybe I'm good in tennis, or maybe I'm good in hockey, or maybe I'm good in badminton, or maybe I'm good in a dance. Whatever it is, you need to really make sure you have that ability, and make sure that ability is going all the way from your elementary or middle. If not, you can start from now, but then you need to make sure all 4 years you're going to continue. Not only continue, do your best to excel, right? So that is very, very important. And another step is making an impact. on the outside of the classroom, right? So whatever you are in the classroom, that's fine. But when you are going outside the classroom, that means what is that you are doing in the community? Are you really, some people will say that, okay, I am spending some 50 hours at the citizen centers, senior citizen. That's good, but what are you really doing there? The impact, you need to make sure it is a quantifiable or qualifiable event you need to do, and make sure whatever you are doing from 9th grade onwards, you capture that into data point, right? So maybe you need to have a spreadsheet for your family or a Google Doc. Whatever is the information, you keep dumping on the information. You can generate a report later. If you have a data, I think most of the people are in IT. If you have a data, you can always generate the report, but you cannot get the data in 12th grade. So you need to start building your data. Whatever may be the silly data, you need to put all the data. Then you qualify the data later. Because sometimes what happens, you just to take a decision saying that, hey, it's a very silly, or your kid may be thinking that, hey, everybody will get this certificate, everybody will get this one, so I don't want to write it. Then once you are in high school, when you want to remember the 4 years of what you have done, it is very, very impossible. So try to add all the information, right? And then again, we are talking about be a leader. Whatever you are doing, do something different. And also make sure, if possible, you can do an initiative. See, a lot of the times, till you are elementary, middle school, you are kind of a child, but when you are coming into high school, you are becoming a teen, right? You are a teen. So you are teen and going to become a young adult, because by the time you finish your high school, you will, most of the average kids would be like 18 plus. That means you are also having a voting right, right? So that means you are really transforming from teen to young adult. So you really need to see what is that as a kid, what is the impact I'm going to do. So you add a spiritual component to it, right? Because God is giving you a wonderful life to you. What is that you really want to do with life? What is the impact of you being on this earth? You are going to create it. You really need to think big. It may start small, but it should have a big impact. And if you don't have an impact, you may generate that impact. You need to think those lines. So start something, whatever is your passion. There are certain people in 8th grade or 9th grade, they started some boutiques, the girls, because everything is online available, they started a boutique shop. But you don't need to follow what others are doing just because of the college application perspective. If you have a passion, do it. If you don't have a passion, search for the passion. But whatever you do, you have to have a long-term commitment. So you pick up something in 9th grade, you should not say that I am picking up something in 9th grade, I'm picking up something in 10th grade, then changing in 11th and 12th, then your application really does not look good. And one and foremost important is, whatever you are doing in your elementary and middle school, especially in 8th grade, it really does not matter whether you are paying attention to the classes or not. But in high school, every moment what you do is being recorded. And even though, like what we say on the social media or on the internet, once you enter something, even though you delete, somewhere it will be replicated. Some copy of your information will be there in one of the server. If I really want to go dig deep and get the information, I can get it. So here, similarly, when you are in the classroom, be attentive, be focused on the subject. No chit-chatting, or don't divert yourself, because all the teachers are looking up to you, and they will be giving you the recommendation. So your behavior, your attentiveness matters a lot from the recommendation perspective. And if you are able to spend more time wisely in the class, you have to spend less time outside the class, right? If you are able to grasp the concepts, if you are able to be present yourself in the class, things will be much better.
I had a question.
Yeah, Subir.
All right, so at the end of this, you're going to college to like get a good job and get some knowledge and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you do that, are there any like jobs or opportunities for which you could just like, I don't know, just like build a profile out of college that just helps you get in, or
Yeah, you can.
like,
So I'm going to cover that topic towards the end. Once I finish a couple of slides,
okay.
I will be talking about that, Subir.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, thank you. So as I said, this is a freshman. If you are in a freshman of college, high school, plan the seats, right? So this is the time, because most of the kids and the parents think, oh, he's only ninth grade, college application comes only in 11th, 12th grade, typically you apply, right? So whoever is in senior now in this year, your application deadline for some of the colleges is October 15th, and some of the colleges November 1st, and some of the colleges December. So it is basically once you get into senior year. So that's true, but you cannot go into senior year and then try to do, because if you have a GPA, something is wrong, your ACT is wrong, SAT is wrong, you cannot change anything. So that's why if you plan upfront from ninth grade onwards, you will reap. So this is a 4-year tree, right? So once you start building, your 4-year tree will be there. So ninth grader. So how many people are there on this call? I don't know, but from the ninth grade representation. So this is very, very critical, and all the parents may be getting overwhelmed, right? So it is definitely an ideal time to start to think about what is the college you really want to go. And mostly what happens is some of the things you need to do unlearn, especially the kids, right? So in 8th grade, whatever you may have done, even in the parents, mostly what we have used to do is that we used to play one-day crickets, right? So when there is an exam, from 1 week from now, we only will take the books just a day before the exam, and then we burn the oil on the night, and then we try to really spend the exam only just a night before. So that does not work here at all. So you have to be very organized, because all the colleges, the GPA is critical component, and they have a classwork, there is a homework, and if you do not sometimes even if you do a mistake, let's say you have a math problem and you really did not get it, but you attempted, it was a wrong answer, but you have submitted the assignment in time, that counts a lot. But if you have not really submitted assignment, or you forgot, or there are other parties you are attending and you are procrastinated, things will be completely different. So whatever you have done, if you are really a lazy person or a procrastinator, disorganized, you don't know what it is, so please, that is one thing which is going to hurt everyone, the family. So this is, again, I'm saying always the family, because you have to support your kid, right? So sometimes people say, hey, always you're studying, always you're doing something, why don't you come here? So you have to give support to your kid. So it is a family thing. So make sure you unlearn some of those things, what you have, some habits like a procrastination, and everything you have to be disciplined and organized. Sorry, I'm hearing some sound. Please go on mute unless you have a question.
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you know any good ways to get into a habit, not procrastinating? Do you have any tips for that?
Yeah. Good question.
Thanks.
So the procrastination is basically, why do you really procrastinate? Most of it is you really don't have a love towards it, or you may be afraid of failing, or you really are forgetting, right? If you are really forgetting, then you can absolutely, one of the things what people are doing is, right now, depending upon where is your bedroom or where is your bathroom, you have to have a sticky pads and write what is your important, and then put it. Of course, I'm going to talk about some of the apps I'm going to cover here. But if you are not a mobile person, or you may not have a mobile, but if you have a sticky pad, please make sure of it. So that's why when you are becoming a disciplined and organized, always try to make sure things are looking up to. So that means when you write your homework checklist, I think in some schools they have a high school diary. I don't know how many schools have, but if not, you should have a diary. You should able to every class make sure there is a homework is written. And then here, till you become a disciplined and organized, you need to help. The parent needs to check the diary of a kid and then make sure that, okay, these things are really there. Okay, whether have you done your math homework or chemistry homework or physics homework, there should be a checklist. Somebody has a question? Okay, so make sure you are writing it, and what it worked out is, if it is very, very important, all your timelines you have to write it and then put it on your mirror in the bathroom. So whenever you are brushing your teeth or whenever you are there, because every day whenever you are going to the bathroom, it is there. and somebody is also putting another sticker next to your bed, so that when you are going to the bed, you are looking at the sticky pad and then making sure this is correct. And then the diary is really working out well. So that's why organize everything in a diary. And maybe these 4 years you have to work with your parent and then have an open mind saying that, okay, these are the diaries, so please help. So parent and kid have to work together to make sure everything is covered. And sometimes what happens is you are spending more time, like there could be some subjects like a math or psychology or history, some whatever the subject, you really spend a lot of time, but you think that you are spending time, but no, you're not able to really understand, or you're not getting any results, because a lot of the people are trying to do multitasking. Multitasking does not mean you do multiple things at the same time. You can just focus on one thing. So the good habit is, if you have a phone next to you, you put it in a vibrate mode and then put it down, or keep it in other room. Most of the distraction is your phones. So as long as you keep your electronics away, you just focus on your laptop, because right now you cannot get away with your laptops, right? Everything is online learning. So you need to be with your laptop or iPad, whatever your electronic device, but take away your mobile phones, or put all your WhatsApp or SMS, everything in the silent mode, and then start working on it. And also try to take some short breaks. If you are working for a 3-hour stretch, at least for every 1 hour, take 5 minutes break, just to think about it. Or if you have a music, or you are having some humming something, you try to do something different for 5 minutes and come back, so that when you are taking a short breaks, you are coming back, your focus is coming on to the subject which you are doing.
Okay, so this kind of extends on. What if your procrastination stems from
I think what we will do is that we'll take the Q&A again later, because
okay.
Otherwise we'll just end up here only for the rest of the hour. Okay.
Okay. Sure.
And if you have more questions, we can always have a one-on-one call.
Okay.
Okay. So then we want to make sure, because of the biological changes between 8th grade and 9th grade, a lot of the kids may not be interested to ask for any help. They always tend to suck all the information inside, and then they may not be able to really share all the information, what is happening in the school. Because once they go to the school, a lot of things will be happening in the school, especially they're also changing their biological ways, thinking ways. The school is different, and it is completely different in terms of the homework and the classwork, the rigor of the classes. So there may be a lot of things. You need to have an open discussion with your parent. Otherwise, if you don't know when to ask or what to ask, then you will end up gathering that information, and then getting into 11th or 12th grade, then it will become a problem. So please ask. And parents, you also need to ask a lot of things about your what is happening in your kids. So as I said, you all have to be friends. And one important thing is, you all have to reinvent yourself, right? So sometimes in 8th grade, if you are doing very good dancing or very good singer, but if you want to continue in 9th grade, maybe you are not really interested. That's okay, but you need to have an open discussion with the parents. And parents also, you should not be pushing too much to the kids. And sometimes you need to balance out. Sometimes some of the kids, depending upon how they are growing up, if you don't push, they may not do. Sometimes if you are doing over push, then people may be missing something. So they will be doing a reinventing. So make sure you define yourself, you ask for help, but then you need to make sure you are unique in this world, right? Whether it is a boy or a girl, you are unique in this world. You have to bring up your own habits, your own persona, right? Your character, everything is unique to you. And more important, what I have seen is a lot of the kids, they have to do classwork and homework, and then they have to do the regular schoolwork. But most of the people are not doing anything what is happening around the world. So make sure you are reading some unassigned material. That means maybe a newspaper, maybe a New York Times, maybe a Wall Street Journal, maybe a documentary. Where I think most of people now has Amazon Prime and Netflix, so there are a lot of documentaries are there. So focus on something which you are interested. Like, if you are interested in math, look up what are the math going on around the world, what are the things going on. Maybe now you have Khan Academy. There are n number of resources. You need to focus on what is your importance, the interesting subject or habit. So these are the key things. So can you go on mute? I think I'm hearing some sound. If anybody is open, can you please go on mute? So we all know these are the critical things. Again, I'm just re-emphasizing here the communication is very, very important, English and language arts. So people have to focus because all your college applications are going to be based on your writing skills, right? So that is very important. And your math score is very important. And English and math are core because your SAT or ACT, whatever you are taking, subject tests, everywhere your analytical, logical skills are important. And of course, your science and collecting the data, gathering the data, how you do the graphing is important, and your social skills, because you need to look at all the core subject functionalities to focus on it so that your GPA is increased. And then, of course, your electives, like, whether you want a Spanish or some other second elective is critical, and clubs and volunteering. And volunteering is very, very critical because it not only helps you to get your awards for presidential awards, what VT Seva is doing every year, but it also helps you to go out of your school, because sometimes, let's say you are working for you are going to a Panther Creek, but if you are going to a volunteering, you may have some friends from Enlo, you may have friends from Raleigh Charter or a Green Hope or other surrounding schools, and then you try to make friendship, and then you try to see how the things are working out. Maybe they become your mentor, because sometimes having a mentor from a different place is very, very critical. Or sometimes you go for a HOSA club, people may be going to Washington DC, so maybe you make a friend there. So all these opportunities are coming through the volunteering. Now if you are in a 10th grade, 10th grade is very, very critical, because if you think about it, ninth grade is basically you are just an entry into high school. So you are trying to unlearn, you are trying to reinvent yourself, you're trying to create your persona, you're trying to adjust your high school. So sometimes people will be adjusted quickly, sometimes people will take almost a year to get adjusted. So all ninth grade you are trying to get adjusted. Now by the time you come to 10th grade, one grade is already gone. So depending upon whatever the grades you have received, depending upon how much work you have done, you nearly, if it is good grades, that's good, but if it is a little bit B's or C's, then you need to really caught up on the GPA, right? So 10th is very, very critical. And why 10th is critical? Because 11th will be covering a lot of the other stuff, and then the college visits and all, and 12th first semester you are doing. So ninth is already gone, 11th is already fully packed, 12th first semester is fully packed. So 10th is only 1 year. You really need to have the complete contour of whatever the gaps you found in the entire your plan of ninth to 12th grade, you need to fill in. So this is a place where you have to understand whether I am taking the right classes, whether I'm taking the right rigor, whether I am getting a good grades. If I'm not getting a good grade, so ninth grade you really did not get a good score in math, or did not get good score in science, or maybe something is not you are not understanding. So at least you are not comfortable in asking a question to your teacher or a friend or a parent, whatever may be the case. But then you really now have to find out, okay, I have to change something for good, otherwise my 10th will be just fly. Because once you enter into the system, 9, 10, 11, 12, it's just 4 years, but a blink of eye, things will go. So this is very, very important for everybody as a parent and as a kid. Sit together and make sure, okay, where am I on ninth grade? Where am I in 10th grade? What is my score looking for 11th and 12th? I'm in the right track. What do I need to do? Do I need help? Do I need to work hard? Do I need to do some organizing way? So you really need to focus on. And some of the schools do not offer AP test, an AP subject in ninth grade. So again, this is the time where a lot of the kids will be coming up with AP. So you need to focus on AP. So if you are comfortable and your school is offering and you are taking an AP, please take it. Again, as I said, rigor is important. You need to take AP, but at the same time, you know your strength. You know your kid's strength. As a kid, you know your strength. So you really need to think whether can you balance out or not. If you don't balance it out, then it will be a big impact on you. It is always bad if you take an AP test and then get a C or a D, but if you get a better lower not a high rigor course, but then you get an A, always makes your total GPA and your profile looks different. If you are getting a B plus and somewhere you are A, then I would say that you take the rigor AP test, and then getting a B plus is much better than getting a normal A plus. Okay, so you need to really look at those things. And now You are in ninth grade, you finish this ninth grade, you have a summer before 10th grade. So this summer is very, very critical. Try to do something on your summer activity, because 10th grade summer and 11th grade summer are critical, but ninth grade summer is little easy to venture out. Like, Suvit was saying, I want to become a doctor, I want to become something. This is the time. Luckily, we did not have that opportunity in India. Maybe now it is different, I don't know. But here you have the opportunity. If you want to become an engineer, if you want to become a doctor, lot of the community will help you to do. If you don't have anything, don't expect any money, because of the age sometimes they will not do, there will be some liabilities. But the kid has to have a passion, kid has to apply. So there are many different hospitals are there. Again, there are many people are applying. Sometimes you may not get it, that's okay. If you get it, you go and work for Rex or UNC or whatever, you do a hospital volunteering. If you don't get it, find out your own doctor, right? You go to your own doctor. If you want to go into the medicine, try to go there and then do a shadowing for a week. That's fine. Anything you can do, that will be good. And then you participate in a volunteering activity. There are many volunteering activities we are giving which will help you. Or you go on a summer trip to somewhere else where you can really learn something, do something which will help you. So this is the place where you really need to touch points about how your professional life is going to be after the high school or after the college, right? If you want to be a research, you go out and do some research, and people will admire if you take initiative and send them an email saying that, I'm a student and I want to really learn. Even though you may not be qualified, because you have taken that initiative, either they will give you some opportunity or they will tell you, okay, you go ahead and do something in a different place, or they will guide you. Okay, so don't fall back. The summer activities, if you're not utilizing fully, then you are really missing the golden opportunity. Okay, and some of the people always think that we have to take SAT subject test later, in the 11th or 12th, but if you can take early, one thing will be out. So for example, if you have taken ninth grade of biology, and then if you are really doing good in ninth grade, so 10th grade you should do SAT subject test on biology, because you have just finished ninth grade. You can prepare in summer of ninth, and you can also prepare something on the 10th grade, then you can do it. So you really need to look at it as an individual, as a family, what really works out best for you. And 10th grade is also a time, if you have not taken any of your SAT or ACT, take the test that time, because you really need to know where you stand, how long it requires for you to do, because it is a practice test, right? SAT and ACT, unless and until you practice at home and then go and give an actual test, you don't know how many marks and all you will be getting. So you have to be very, very critical that you need to take those tests ahead of the time. And then of course the PSAT. So this is again just an average workload of a 10th grader looks like, but again, each kid is different, each school is different. Think about it. But you have to be like in a Finnish biology. So in 10th, you will be taking a chemistry, then algebra 2, honors English, world history, honors Spanish. Again, your physical activity and the elective.
Oh, question. Okay. So regarding GPA, is it better to take harder classes and do kind of okay in them, or take easier classes and do excellent in them?
So as I told you, the comparison, right? So if you are taking AP and you are getting a B plus, you are taking a non-AP, getting a plus, I would prefer AP. But if you are taking AP and you are getting either C or D, and taking a normal, you are getting A, then go to the normal. So what is the difference you are bringing? That makes sense.
Okay, so basically like APA is like 4.5, right? 4.5 versus like regular is like 4, and
Right.
academic is 3.5 for an A. So if they're equal, then is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because if you take in general also, if you are taking AP, you are getting B plus, you are really doing well. If you are taking AP, you are getting a C grade, then that is not good. Okay. So now we reached out to 11th grade, right? So in 11th grade, we are doing more about research, because this is the time you have understood about 9th grade, 10th grade, and if possible, you might have already done some visits to the colleges. So you really need to know about what is the real colleges looks like. Sometimes in ninth grade, as we discussed about it, hey, MIT or Harvard is really good for you. But then after you visit, based on the interest you are thinking, maybe you're not really interested in math, or maybe you're not interested in Massachusetts because it is one of the coldest place. I really want to go there, but I really don't like cold. Maybe I prefer to go to California, so that is much better. I hate snow. So whatever may be the reasons, you really need to do a lot of the research. Then you have to think about which college is really fit, right? So I have given like a template, the college, academics, location, size, extracurricular activities. So you can actually create whatever is your own chart and think about it. What are the schools? So I've also given you your likely schools, target and reach. So you need to create your own schools depending upon the scores. So for example, you already have a GPA 3 and your SAT score is let's say 1350, right? So if your score is this, once you go into some of these colleges, where will you really fit in? Some of the average classes say that, okay, anybody 1200 above are getting it, anybody between 2.75 and are getting it, then you are definitely getting likely. So then you have to go to some of the schools which are higher, which are the target schools. And some of the things are very rich. Like, if you're looking up Ivy League, your really goal is Ivy League, but do not have those scores. So now what are the things you need to do to come into that bracket. So you need to do some kind of your own self-analysis, make a chart. And for that, you have to visit the college, and you also have to do your own rankings because of the way how you have seen. Sometimes your criteria is you are a foodie, right? If you have a good a cafeteria or a good restaurants and all, that is your preference, of course, because no college is a bad college, right? So you have to really go with what really likes you. Maybe you are really thinking that want to be a nerd in computer science. Everywhere I'm hearing about AI and data science and machine learning. So in those cases, then you think about maybe Cornell is a good school because Cornell offers a very good AI program. Maybe I don't know whether I want to become a doctor or not, but I want to become a research scientist. I want to do a PhD. So go to a school where it has a fantastic research. So maybe UNC Chapel Hill is a good school, or maybe you go to the Johns Hopkins. So think about it. One important aspect is your friends are close friends. You really love them, but they cannot decide your life. You have to decide your life, where you want to go. So don't go with your friends because they are going to Appalachian. I want to go to Appalachian. You really decide whether you really want to go to Appalachian, whether you want to go to the University of Florida, whether you want to go local, in-state, outstate, or Georgia Tech. There are n number of schools, and each school has its own aura, right? So you need to see where will you be a culturally fit in that school, where will you really enjoy what you really want to enjoy, where will you have a curricular rigor, and also you can change, because most of the times you can even go undecided in the first year of the college and you can pick up something in the second year. So you really need to think about it, what works best for you, not because your parents have gone, because sometimes parents may say that I have gone to Harvard, you have to go to Harvard. And because of the alumni, maybe you have a more opportunity to get into Harvard, but you really don't want to get into Harvard because Harvard is more about the liberal arts. And if you want to go to the Stanford, which is really good, maybe you want to start a company, maybe I want to be there in the Silicon Valley, go with it. So whatever is your passion, follow the passion. But you need to have a manageable list of colleges. You need to make sure you have your own metrics, your own spreadsheet, and then you decide. So this is a work you have to do. To do this in 11th grade, you have to really follow 9th and 10th so that you are spending more time. So if you're taking SAT subject test or any other test in 11th grade, then you are wasting time either in 9th or 10th, right? So whatever you can knock off some things, you knock off. If you cannot knock off because of either you are not prepared or because the school is not giving you, then you don't have a much choice. But that's why if you plan well in advance what is coming in your way, you should have at least that 4-year vision.
Okay. Another question. Let's say someone's in 9th grade and they haven't found like what they're passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
They come to 10th grade, 10th grade finishes, still no. 11th grade finishes, still no. Like, they're in like about to end 12th grade. Like at that point, on like such short notice, is there anything they can do to like find what they want to do, or find
So
something they're passionate about? It's
no,
like, how do you find it?
no. So the thing is, sometimes people may not even find their passion even in college. There are people, right? So you nothing will immediately come to your light bulb and then you do, right? So the passion is something which has to come out of your own self knowledge or whatever you are really thinking. And sometimes the passion, what you're thinking, because I know my own son, when he was in ninth and 10th, he really wanted to become a lawyer. So he worked as a youth attorney in a high court. The high court gave him, and he really worked in ninth and 10th. But then later on, he changed to medicine. Then he changed it. So you always change. If you do not have a passion, it's okay. But what matters most is your fundamentals, right? Your fundamentals are have to be strong. So that means you have to be good in math, you have to good in science, you have to good in your communications. That means your English and language arts have to be strong. And then you may have a passion for something in your extracurricular activity, but you have to do some volunteering. So let's say you do not have any passion, but how do you know whether you have a passion? You need to explore the option, right? If you don't explore, you don't know the details. You really don't know whether you want to become an engineer or a doctor or a CPA or a CA. There are many number of positions out there. Maybe you want to just go to like sports medicine, or it could be many different specialities are there. All those things, you may think that it is your passion, but unless and until you explore, you don't know. And if you don't have any passion, that's okay, but you still have to work towards it. You have to do something. So the goal, what I'm trying to say, is that every summer, when you have a 2 to 3 months of vacation, or even a 1 month, at least work something 2 weeks to 3 weeks. Work something which is maybe a volunteering. Maybe go to some place where it really gives you something opening up. And that's why you need to build your own network, build your own mentor, build your own friends, and talk to the people where you are really thinking. And sometimes what I also advise is, don't even just to go to college visits in 11th or 12th grade. Sometimes when you are in ninth grade, take your kid and just go there just to have a lunch. Nobody will stop you, right? You don't need to go to the admissions place. You just go there just to feel of it, how the college life is going to be. Maybe go and spend 1 or 2 hours with you and your parent, spend in a cafeteria and go to the library and see how things are. Because somewhere it will have a motivation, but as long as you're in that direction, something will click
Okay, so let's say something does come up, but you're on the edge about it. How do you know if it is something you wanna like go with? Like, how do you find that? Does it just
in.
come, or like?
That is all about, you have to work out, and what gives you the happiness, right? You feel
Okay.
some things, like I know one kid really want to become a research scientist, but he doesn't know what is a research scientist. So when we went in, the Duke professor gave a research scientist option. Then they went in morning 8 to 5. He was only looking things under microscope. Then he said, that's not my cup of tea. So once you see where you really feel happy, when you are playing something, you really feel happy that you're not getting bored, right? So where it gives you the satisfaction and the happiness, that's what it is all about, the passion. Okay.
Okay.
So we only have 10 minutes. I need to come something. So hold on. And I think, Subid, you're only asking the questions. Maybe you have crossed more limits. So we need to give option to others as well.
Yeah. Okay.
So in the 12th grade is where you are. Again, we are talking about get organized. So there are many different applications are there. Some of the application is StudyCal. I have another list here so we can talk about it. But here in 12th grade, you need to prioritize, because 11th grade summer is very critical. You really need to work out your college applications. College application typically will be open up in the summer, so you can start working on your essays and the prompts and your set deadlines. Be focused, because your first 2-3 months into 12th grade is very, very critical, because August 15th or November 1st, depending upon your early admission, early decision, it is critical. So you really need to think about it. And then again, you cannot procrastinate. You ask for help. Most of the time people are thinking they are not asking for help, or they are thinking it may not look good, it may be bad, I don't know what to do. So people always feel suffocated, but they will not ask help. So I strongly urge parent and kid, create a transparent environment where you should be asking more questions. Like Subid, he's been asking a lot of questions since the beginning of the class. So you need to ask. If you don't ask, don't worry about what others think, right? It is about you. It is your life. You need to do it. And then you need to think about it. Most of the kids are working on 10
Not
to
ready.
12. Sorry, is there a question? Okay, so most of the kids are working with 10 to 12 colleges. That means they have to write 20 to 30 essays or short responses. So think about the magnitude of things. You are working on a common application which will go to all the colleges, but when you are asking for applying for colleges, in addition to college application, there will be 1 or 2 essays. So the more colleges you apply, the more essays you have to do. That means you really need to plan ahead of the time. A lot of the times people try to submit the button at 11:59 to submit before 12 o'clock, and sometimes something fails, then you will lose the opportunity. So do not keep anything for the last minute. Okay, so it is very, very important that you should able to do things very much scheduled, on time and before time. Now, I'll just quickly go to the college essay writing and then we'll call for the speakers. So this is essay writing is very, very critical. It itself, we can talk about 1 hour, but because of the time, I'm just trying to wrap it up quickly. So in essay writing, it's all about you, right? There is what essays people are trying to look at college admission counselor is, if I read your essay, I should able to say that this is XYZ. I should able to look at your persona through your application. So the more authentic, the more information you give about you, then it will be fantastic. So you have to, your opening statement has to be very good. You need to showcase your fantastic writing skills. You need to be direct. You don't want to tell the story, almost 360 degrees, right? You don't go around. So just be direct, give the information, and make sure whether you are giving a narrative story or you are making a persuasive or an argument, right? So you have to be position your scope of writing in a proper way so that people understand whether you are making an argument or a narrative. And also, don't copy somebody's style. It should able to have your own style and be authentic. Just don't copy paste, because there are so many information is available online. If you are doing a copy paste, people will know about it. So just be yourself. Pick up in your maybe 15, 16 years of your life or 17 years of your life, what are the 1 or 2 things which are highlighting, which you can talk about it. And proofread, proofread, proofread. Most of the time people will get really annoyed if you do not have a proper grammar, or more than that, typos. There could be some typos, word may not catch up, because if you are saying for FIR or FOR, both are correct, but if it is in a sentence, if you are missing one letter, it may not highlight and then you will miss it. So make sure you read that. So this is where you need to prepare, and then make sure your parents or somebody else, third person, should able to read it and tell that, okay, this is XYZ. I could really resonate your character in the essay. And make sure your word count and all are there. So there should be a lot of the books you should be reading. I can send you this information. So there are some book writing techniques and memoirs, because we are not talking about autobiography, right? So when you're writing, it is not an autobiography. You're writing only one particular incident in your life. You are explaining, through that you are explaining your characters. Okay, so we'll just skip. These are some of the apps. Again, I'll be sending. So there is a Goodreads, is a new mobile app which is all about the new books. There is also Zite, which is all about outside reading, what are the current events. Evernote, a lot of the IT people are using, so you should be able to use it. It will give you history of what are you are writing. Evernote is a good application. And then there is a brain training, Elevate. And if you are doing a Spanish or German or any other second language, Duolingo is one of the application. And then again, event reminders, right? Of course, most of the people know about the birthdays, but you don't know about your deadlines of the college applications. So make sure not only just having your friends' birthdays on your calendar, but try to do all your deadlines or important assignments into this. So I'm just rushing things just to keep it under the time. Parents, it is important for you right now, set goals with yourself and your kids, and make sure to have an open discussion with kids, so that you really want to know about your kid. You think you really know about your kid for elementary and middle, but ninth grade onwards, kids are transforming. So this is the time you should really know more, have a friendly conversation and treat them as a friend rather than a child. Because you try to handhold them in elementary and middle school, but in high school, don't handhold them. I mean, you can handhold them, but you really look at it as a both equal ways. The child is like your friend. You are really trying to talk to them, have open discussion. It could be many different topics they would like to cover. It's okay, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever it comes up, you have an open discussion that will give you a very comfort level between a parent and a kid, so that you can really think about it. What is the goal for next 4 years, and what is the goal for that particular kid's life? Because at the end of the day, as a parent, what we want is to have our kids successful in life, and we, as a, especially an Indian parent, we really want to do whatever it takes to keep our kids happy. We are very famous for sacrificing, but in the part of the sacrificing, what we miss is we miss what our kid wants. So understand what our kid wants instead of pushing what you really want onto your kid. Okay. So with that, I really want to, there is a scholarships. I will send you guys, some of the scholarships are there. But with this, I would like to invite some of the college freshmen who are right now in at home, and they graciously agreed to come online to speak about it. So what I want is now, I want, if it is Shriya, Sri Parambadur, and I want Shriya and Anvi, Tirunagari, and Chidrupi. So please be online. And what I want is just introduce yourself, talk about where are you going and how was your journey. Maybe you can, each one can take 1 or 2 minutes. So let's go with Shriya, Anvi, and Chidrupi. So Shriya, you're on.
Hi everyone, I'm Shreya. I just graduated this past June from Raleigh Charter High School. Well, it was like a semi-graduation because of Corona, but thankfully I did get my graduation. Right now, I'm a first-year student at UNC Charlotte. It doesn't really feel like I'm in college because I'm at home, but it's some experience. I'm really excited. I'm double majoring in psychology and health systems and management, and I'm on a pre-med track. That sounds like a lot, but we're doing it. So high school goes by really fast, and it's an experience that's like none other. And you have so much fun, but it's also so much work. You always have to be focused on what you're doing. You have to plan ahead. You have to plan, like my dad was saying, from your freshman year. You have to look into colleges, where you want to go, what they're expecting of you, just so you have a plan in mind and you're organized and you're doing what you want to do to go to your dream school. But always don't lose sight of not having fun. You always want to have fun, but also be doing your work. It's kind of a 50-50 shot. Don't always be studying, but don't always be partying. Party hard, study hard. So yeah, just be focused. Your junior year, I feel like, is your hardest. That's when you do everything. You max out your volunteering hours, your internship opportunities, anything that you want to showcase your next year on your applications. You got to get it done your junior year, which means getting your SATs done, your ACTs, all of your examinations, your subject tests early on, so you can showcase yourself in your senior year. So your hardest year is, I would say, your junior year. And then your first semester of your senior year, you just got to showcase who you are. You have to write your best essays and just show who you really are and why the college should take you as a student. And keep the mindset that the colleges shouldn't be picking you. You should be picking the colleges. You should make yourself so available, so like amazing of a student that they want you. You should be the one picking your colleges. So make sure you're showing the best of yourself on paper and have fun during the process, and you should be good. So yeah, don't stress about it. Just have fun.
Thank you, Shriya. Just stick around. So we'll ask Anvi and Chidrupiti also speak up, and then if there are any questions to you three, you can answer, and then we can conclude. So Anvi, you're next.
Hey everyone, my name's Anvi. I recently graduated from Menlo Magnet High School, and I'm going to UNC Charlotte, majoring in public health with a minor in data science and on the pre-med track. I know a lot of the things that we're saying are repetitive, but it's really important that you pay attention to these things because they really do mean a lot. You're going to, sorry, did somebody say something?
No, go ahead, Anvi.
Okay. You're going to be doing a lot, you know, you have school, you have extracurricular activities, you have your homework, you have to do stuff for your parents, you know, your friends are asking you to go to parties. One of the big things that helped me manage my time throughout high school is basically plan my weeks out on my calendar and just live my life on that calendar and make sure you're getting all your deadlines done, all your homework done before, you know, so you're not like waiting the last minute. And one app that I really like to use is Google Calendar because it can sync onto your phone. So every morning it will send you notifications and reminders to get your stuff done 2 days before. So yeah, just like you have to keep your track on everything, and it really helps to like make time for yourself as well. I know that like in high school, you, as I said, you're doing a lot of things. So you have to make sure you're spending time exercising, eating right, and spending time with your friends and family, just so that you don't burn yourself out, because that's also a bad thing. And the last tip of advice I'd give you is to make sure that you always have your goals in sight. I know that it's nice to go out and party with your friends or go to like hang out with birthday parties and all that on the weekends, but just keep in sight of, you know, like make sure your school is first, your priorities are first, because at the end of the day, you are applying to colleges. Your friends aren't applying for you to go to college, right? So just make sure of that, and, you know, be yourself and you'll get it.
Thank you, Anvi. I really appreciate it. So just stick around. Chidrupi, please go ahead.
I am Chidrupi, and I'm in NC State. I'm currently in the Life Science First Year program, which is basically you can choose any major in the Life Science program next year. Personally, I started to join clubs in 10th grade, which I feel like really helped because I had a variety of clubs where I attended to, and it wasn't just in like one field. I went to computers, I went through tutoring, I went to a lot of volunteer-based clubs as well, and I started AP classes in 10th grade, and took many of my AP classes during junior year. And for me personally, junior year was the hardest, and I did start taking the SAT in 10th grade just to relieve some of the stress. And one of the best things that I did was ask Swami on what to do through the process. Pretty much he gave me guidance on how to write the essays and when to write them, and to go to colleges before, so I can actually choose a college that I was comfortable with.
Thank you, Chidrupi. So I think there are many questions on SAT. So any one of you can just ask, how is the SAT? Do we need to take more number of SATs from your perspective? How would be comfortable? Maybe I'll ask Anvi that question.
I would say first and foremost, make sure that you have a list of what colleges you're applying to. And basically, I think the best thing that you could do is make an Excel sheet of all the colleges that you're looking for and all of their requirements for their SAT, ACT, and really like deep dive research into, you know, there's a bunch of websites out there, like College Confidential. There's a Reddit page called Applying to Colleges, all these places where you can go and get more information about colleges, about what they're looking for in their essays, what they're looking for in their extracurriculars, and just keep that all in a spreadsheet. And, you know, every college is different. Some colleges don't care how many times you take the SAT, they'll just take your highest scores. Some colleges, they average all of your SAT scores. So you have to make sure that generally people say the less times you take it, the better. But honestly, you have to look at what colleges you're applying for and what their requirements are. And if your colleges don't care about how many times you take it how many times you want. You just have to do what your college is fits for you. I think the best way to study for school standardized tests like ACT and SAT is to take practice tests over and over again and see which type of test you're better at. You know, for a long time I studied for the SAT, but I was actually better at the ACT, so I submitted most of my ACT scores to my colleges. So you really just have to take the practice tests over and over again and kind of get a feel for what the questions are asking you. And whichever SAT, ACT you're better at, just focus on that one more and send those scores to your colleges.
Good. Anything you want to add, Shreya?
And adding on to that, tutoring is always helpful, but it's always not for everyone. The main thing, like Anvi was saying, is taking the practice test over and over again. So first of all, you're comfortable with the test. You know what the test expects of you. You know what you have to learn in order to do well in your testing. But tutoring is nice. Just make sure you have all your formulas ready. You have to memorize all your formulas. Any tricks and tips there might be, you should do that. So when you go into the test, you have to be completely prepared, at least for the one. Go into every testing opportunity thinking this will be your last one. Don't think, oh, I still have another one to do. Oh, I still have that one to do. Just make sure this is your final one. Keep that mindset and you'll do the best that you do every time you take it. You can take it once, you can take it 100 times, it doesn't matter. Just give your best each time.
Chidrupi, anything you want to add?
Personally, I feel like if you start earlier, like in the 9th and 10th grade, it's easier since you don't have the stress of AP classes on top of it. And I feel like I did better in those years than when I did it in 11th grade.
Excellent. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Also, in terms of like super scoring, like once you can take it completely, and then once the second time you're taking it, you can only focus on like the English portions if you already did well in the math portions. So you can just keep practicing the English and then focus on that your next time around, and then it'll just super score your best math score and your best English score, or vice versa. That's also helpful.
Good. So thank you all for the three kids, Anvi, Chidrupi, and Shreya. I really appreciate for joining and sharing some good insights to these kids and the parents, so they all will know. And I know I have seen a lot of the questions are coming in. So this year, because of the pandemic, because of the COVID, many schools are canceling their SAT and ACT. So if you are in your senior year and if you are applying, what they are going to count is, if you have a good score, even though they are not counting, please go ahead and send. If you think you have not taken, or if you're not having a good score, then it is a time just to go about only giving your GPA and your other extracurricular activities and your AP scores. So whatever other profile of your college application minus SAT and ACT you have to do. So this is a little bit challenging. I don't know how these colleges are going to really look at comparing apples to apples, because some of the people have SAT or ACT score, some of the people may not have the SAT or ACT score. So this is, I would not really say whether it is advantage or disadvantage. This is the situation. So you have to go with it. So that's why the main goal is try to make sure your GPA is good. Try to make sure you are taking a rigor. Try to make sure you have some leadership qualities where you are doing some kind of extracurricular activities or taking some initiatives which no one has done, something unique about it, where you can really showcase that this is the person I really want on part of the college. Then it will help you, because you don't have SAT or ACT. So right now I'll just open up. So anybody want to talk? Anvi, Shreya, I know you guys have something to carry on. If you guys need to drop off, Chidrupi. But remaining, I will just open up for 5-10 minutes. If anybody has any other questions, we can do. I know we have already crossed 11 minutes. We'll be closing this in next 4 minutes. If anybody wants to talk or have any questions, feel free to unmute and you can bring your videos and then you can ask a question directly. And all three girls, thank you so much for joining. If you want to stick around, you are welcome. If you want to drop, you are please feel to drop.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Swami, this is Praveen. quick question, sir. Namaskaram.
Namaskaram, Chepandi. Sure, go ahead.
Do you have any websites which list down what score and what could be the probable college they can apply for? For example, if you are interested in one stream of study of science or engineering, where an average score for this kind of, for example, if I'm looking at engineering at NC State or engineering at Virginia Tech, what should be an average score for what stream? Is there a site which gives us an assessment of that?
So typically what happens is there is a site which is available depending upon if your team is using that, your school, right? If your school is using, there are a couple of sites are available, but it is a subscription. It is called a Naviance. If your school is using, you can do, otherwise you have to do subscription. What it does is, depending upon your school, depending upon your GPA, depending upon your SAT, it will tell you what is the, let us say you pick up NC State, then it will tell you whether this will be suitable for you or not, or what is the historically from your children's school. Let's say if your son is, where is your son or daughter going?
He's going to Enlo.
Enlo. So it will give you the Enlo list. So from Enlo, last 10 years, what is the average students going? So it will give you, if you are, let's say your son is getting, daughter is getting a 3.5 GPA with a 1350 SAT and then other things, it will just give you an indication. Nothing is given a guarantee, but it will just give you whether you will be falling within that category or not. So that is a Naviance. Most of the schools are using, especially Raleigh Charter and the private schools are using. I don't know about the government schools. If they are not there, you can actually go ahead and subscribe just to look at it. But again, nothing gives the guarantee, but it gives you what is the historic data from that school where it is. Because each time when you are applying, let us say if a kid is getting a 1400 SAT, and if the kid is going to, let's say, Enlo, and Enlo, again, it is a big school, they will look at it. If you go and look up for your own school, there is an average SAT of that school is given in your own school. So if the SAT average score is 1250 or 1300, so you are above average, so it is good thing for you. But in some of the top-notch schools, SAT average could itself be 1400 and you are already getting 1380, you may not be above average, so you need to get more than that. So okay. The best way to do is go to your own school, understand what is there in the school about average in terms of the GPAs and the SATs, all the scores will be listed, and because it is a public schools, everything will be listed. Go to your choice of schools, NC State and all, then you look for these colleges. And also you can ask for the admission counselor. They will all give, everybody will give only average, because nobody can give, there is no straight formula. Okay, you do this, you will get it, right? So there is nothing straight formula. You need to work out. So that is where people are getting the gaps. There is they always say it is a holistic approach, and that's why I'm working with each of these kids, like, Chitripi and Vishriya, and there are many other people who have worked with me. So we are looking at the kid and the family and then understanding their score, and then we need to really work out towards it. The biggest opportunity what you have is your personal statement and the essays. The more you write on your essay, the more it will be there.
Right. Okay. Can you spell that? What's the website name? Naviance means N-A?
Naviance. I'll put I hope you all are on the WhatsApp group, right? So I will post some of the slides, and if anybody is interested in the slide deck, I can share that. I know some of the people are asking on the scholarship side, so everything I'll be posting on it. I will also recorded this, so the recording also will be available so people can see. So just in the interest of the time, I can just take one more question. Anybody has a final question?
So actually, this is not really a question. I just want to clarify.
Sure.
So basically, you're saying that if we already took the SAT and we did really well, or if we're about to take the SAT and we do very well on the SAT, we can send those our scores to the colleges. But if we don't want to, if we don't take the SAT, we just have to get have a high GPA and do a lot of extracurriculars. Is that what you're saying, basically?
Correct. So just to remember, once you take SAT or ACT, unless you give the access to the college through a proper process, they will not know what are your scores. And there is also possibility that, let us say you have taken 4 times or 5 times and you really want to only one time to be given, let us say ninth grade onwards you're taking for whatever the reason, right? And your 11th grade you got a good score, or maybe a 10th grade you got a good score. So only that particular score you want to send it, you can select only that year score when you are sending, because these all are independent organizations, so they will not able to see all your scores unless you give them the access, and you also can give the access only limited. So you have already done well in your SAT, then why don't you share your score? Even though the college is saying it is optional, people always say it is optional. Like, if you go to the Ivy Leagues, they will also say SAT subject test and all others are optional, but you can always give those information. So in your case, if you have not taken SAT and you are not really want to take it, I would advise you should take it. Whether you are really going to submit or not, you should take it. If your score is good, submit it. If your score is bad, don't submit it, because people will not know if you're not submitting. Then what are the other criteria, right? If I am in a college counselor, what I will be looking? First thing, I'll be looking at a GPA. Second, I'll be looking at the SAT or ACT. Third, I will be taking what is the rigor, because even AP scores also you will not be sending anything with the application. They will not give any option for you to apply or enter your AP scores. Only AP scores will be counted at the end of once you join, because AP scores will help you to get whether you can get a waiver for your any of the subject. But what it gives you is the rigor, because you only will say that this is the AP score I am taking. So what they will do is that if you are taking a high rigor course, the rigor is available in your application. Then if you are taking the GPA, you are already taking AP, your GPA should be better if you are taking all APs, right? Because APs are higher scored. So if you are getting As in all APs, obviously your cumulative GPA will be higher. So they will look at it, your GPA, and they will look at it, the rigor, and if it is all matching, then you are already a good candidate. Of course, they will look now the extracurricular activities, whether you have the presidential award or whether you are an athlete, whether you have got any other special things. Because what they are trying to do is, depending upon the colleges, some colleges, like if you look at Ivy Leagues, it is less than 5%. If you look at it, UNC Chapel Hill and all, it is less than, I think, 25%. Some of the colleges it is 35%. Some of the colleges it is 45%. So this is what is the percentage of selection of the admission. So that means each college on an average you are getting 30,000 applications. So you are hardly getting only 5% of it, or 20% of it, or 30% of it. If you are in state, your chances of getting admission is very high. But if you are going in out of state, you are applying for some of the top colleges, it will be difficult. But of course, this year is very special, because a lot of the folks, like even the parents are not sending the kids to out of state because of the COVID. So if you're really strong about it, and if you're applying for, you are in North Carolina and you're applying for UCLA or Berkeley, your chances of getting this year, if you are in senior, is much higher than previous years, because of the only reason, the speculation is a lot of the people will not be applying for the out of state, because people have gone through this pandemic and they're very much afraid of the situation, and they are not really willing to send their kids to out of state. So that is so you have to look at the different things. But again, if you have any specific things for your own family, then we can schedule separately.
Okay, thank you.
I have one final question. Okay. So, what is the biggest difference between like community college and like regular colleges? Why are community colleges seen like so like low compared to regular colleges?
So
What's so bad about them?
now, first important aspect of what we need to look at for community colleges is only 2-year degree. It's not college degree. Okay. So community colleges are not bad, but it all depends on what will you do once you have the community, right? If you are going to, let's say, Wake Tech community for whatever is the reason, 2 years you are studying, and most of the time you are going to Wake Tech or any community colleges, because the community colleges are the evening and most of the people are working. So they are not only, apart from the education, they are working or they are doing something else. After the 2 years, what are your chances of getting into the mainstream of the college? Because you will only get undergrad degree if you are in a proper institution. So these community colleges are only giving you 2 years. So it is not a bad option. It also need to have a compelling reason. There are many people who finished what do you call I think AB or associate degree. It is called associate degree from community colleges. Then in the third year and the final year, they have already gone to NC State or UNC. And then finally, what they are getting the degree is undergrad from UNC Chapel Hill. That's all it matters when you're getting for the jobs. So it's not a bad idea if you want to go, but it should have a compelling reason. Why are you going there? What are you doing? Because I'm lazy, I really don't want to get it. I just want to go to the community college. I'm really enjoying, because it is not that rigor in the community colleges. That is only meant for the people who are really working. There is a lot of underprivileged kids. There are a lot of different people who really want to work. So when people are working full time, they cannot really get the college. So for the next 2 years, because college is not a easy money, right? Most of the Indian parents, by hook or crook, we try to spend whatever the money you want to send the kid into the good college. But if you look at it by and large, every person or every family may not be having or might not have planned enough to give the funds. So for those people, if they're going to the community colleges, it is very cheap. People are able to work in parallel. They are able to get associate degree, and they are available to apply for undergrad. So it is a different reason. Okay.
So one question, Swami.
Yeah, sure. Who is it?
Yeah, my name is Krishna.
Okay.
So thing is, in previous question, you said we can research on the average score on the high school website. I have missed that part actually. Could you please repeat that?
So when you are doing a research, right, the SAT scores and ACT scores, all of them are available on your regular public school. They will tell you, okay, Enloe or Green Hope or Panther Creek, whatever the school your kid is going, they will tell you what is the average SAT or ACT score of that school. So when you are applying for the colleges, they will always compare what is the average score of the school and what is your score.
Oh, okay. Got it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you all. I hope it is all informational. And if you have any more information, feel free to ping me separately, and then we can try to schedule time. I know, I'm sorry. It's an interesting topic. A lot of questions were coming. So we have passed almost 25 minutes. Apologies for it. And again, it is I was trying to give as much information as possible within the 1 hour, but again, it is more always interesting information, and I know parents and kids always want, and it is a life-changing event. College is one of the thing, and that's why I took initiative to do it, because I've gone through with my 2 kids. So it's I'm passionate about working with the parents and the kids who really want to excel in their life. Anytime, my doors are open. So anytime you need anything, please ping me. But for now, I will take rest. So thank you all for joining. Have a wonderful rest of the weekend, and we'll see you later. Thank you all. Have a good day.
Thank you, Swami. Thank you. Thank you for
Thanks, Andy. Yep. Bye.